Becky had everything. At 16, she lived in a massive duplex with tall glass windows and marble floors that shined so brightly you could almost see your reflection in them. She attended one of the most expensive private schools in the city. A driver dropped her off every morning and picked her up every afternoon. Her wardrobe looked like a mini boutique.
I look so beautiful today. Clock it.
Designer sneakers lined neatly on one shelf, handbags arranged by color, perfumes displayed like trophies. If Becky wanted something, she got it, and her mother made sure of that. Leave her mom would always say whenever anyone tried to correct her. She's still young, let her enjoy her life. My daughter deserves the best. Becky believed that. She believed she deserved the best. The best clothes, the best phone, the best treatment, including being served. Juliet had been working in their house for almost 3 years. She was in her early 20s, soft-spoken, respectful, and hardworking. She woke up before everyone else. She cooked, cleaned, ironed, washed cars, and still managed to smile politely whenever she was called. But to Becky, Juliet was not a person. She was a service.
Juliet!
Becky would shout from her room even when the maid was downstairs.
Yes, Becky!
Juliet would answer immediately.
Come and bring my charger! It's on your table!
Juliet would sometimes say gently.
Just bring it!
Juliet would walk upstairs. Other times, Juliet, come and help me zip my dress. Juliet, carry this plate. Juliet, open the curtains. Juliet, close the curtains. Juliet, get me water. Even when the water bottle was right beside her, Becky never said please. She rarely said thank you.
Give me the phone fast!
She spoke as if Juliet was part of the furniture. Her mother noticed, but instead of correcting her, she enabled it. Juliet, that is your job, her mother would say if Juliet ever looked tired. That's what we are paying you for. Her father noticed too, but he was quieter. He would look up from his newspaper sometimes when Becky snapped her fingers at Juliet. His jaw would tighten slightly, but he would say nothing. Not yet. One Saturday afternoon, Becky was in the living room scrolling through her phone while a movie played loudly on the TV.
Juliet!
Juliet rushed in from the kitchen.
Yes, Becky.
My juice is finished. There's still some inside? I want a fresh one.
Juliet picked up the glass and walked back to the kitchen. Becky didn't move, not even slightly. Later that evening, Becky came downstairs dressed up for a friend's birthday party. Juliet, she called again. Yes?
Fix my shoes. Yes, Becky.
Juliet knelt down and adjusted the strap.
Next time, do it properly.
Her father was standing near the staircase, watching. Juliet stood up quietly. Sorry. Becky checked herself in the mirror. As she turned to leave, her phone slipped from her hand and fell onto the couch beside her. She stared at it. It was within reach. She looked at Juliet. Juliet, pass me my phone. Juliet hesitated for half a second, then picked it up and handed it to her. Her father's eyes narrowed slightly. Becky walked out like a queen leaving her palace. That small moment said everything. She wasn't tired. She wasn't busy. She simply refused to do it herself because in her mind, someone else existed to do it for her. And in that house, everyone knew it. Everyone saw it, but no one had stopped it. Yet. It happened on a Thursday evening. Becky had just returned from school and thrown herself onto the living room couch. The air conditioner hummed softly above her while a popular series played loudly on the TV. She reached out her hand. The remote control was right there, right beside her thigh. But instead of picking it up, she shouted,
Juliet!
There was no response. She rolled her eyes dramatically and grabbed her phone. She dialed Juliet's number. In the kitchen, Juliet was stirring a pot of stew on the stove. The aroma of tomatoes and spices filled the room. She had stepped outside briefly to collect some vegetables from the security guard at the gate, leaving her phone on the counter. It vibrated, but no one heard it. Back in the living room, Becky frowned.
How dare she ignore me?
She dialed again. Still no answer. Her irritation rose quickly, like someone had committed a crime against her. She threw her phone on the couch and stood up. "Juliet!" she screamed, her voice echoing through the house. Juliet rushed back in from the compound, wiping her hands on her apron.
Yes, Becky. Why didn't you pick my calls? I stepped outside for a minute. I didn't hear my phone ringing. You stepped outside, so now you ignore my calls? No. Stop talking!
Her father, who had been upstairs in his study reviewing some documents, paused when he heard the shouting. He stood up slowly and walked towards the staircase. He didn't go down. He stood halfway, hidden by the wall, listening. In the living room, Becky folded her arms.
I called you twice. I'm sorry. What do you need? The remote. The remote? Yes! I told you to bring it! Right away, ma'am. You need to learn to answer when I call you. I'm sorry, ma'am.
Becky suddenly marched back into the kitchen.
This rubbish phone is the reason you don't even hear calls properly.
Before Juliet could finish her sentence, Becky slammed the phone hard against the tiled floor. The sound echoed. Crack! The screen shattered instantly. The battery slid out one way. The back cover skidded across the floor. Silence filled the kitchen. Juliet stared at the broken pieces. Her lips trembled slightly as tears streamed down her face. She bent down slowly and began to pick them up. Her father had heard everything. Every word, every movement, every act of pride. He remained on the staircase for a moment longer. Then he quietly walked back into his study. He said nothing. Becky tossed her hair back and walked away like nothing had happened. "If you want to walk in this house, learn respect," she muttered. That evening, around 7:30 p.m., the doorbell rang. A delivery package arrived. A sleek, expensive black box. Her father signed for it calmly and took it upstairs. He opened the box slowly. Inside was the latest iPhone model. He had ordered it weeks ago. Becky's birthday was the next morning. He had planned to surprise her. He held the package in his hand. It gleamed under the light. Brand new. Perfect. Then his eyes drifted to the memory of the shattered phone on the kitchen tiles. He walked to his bedroom window and stood quietly. In his mind, he replayed the scene. The shouting, the arrogance, the smash. He looked down at the iPhone again. Then he glanced towards the kitchen downstairs where Juliet was quietly cooking dinner as if nothing had happened. He stood there for a long time, holding the new phone, remembering the broken one. And slowly, a decision began to form in his mind. The next morning, Becky woke up smiling. 16! She stretched lazily in her oversized bed, already imagining the gifts. Her mother had hinted at something special. Her father had been unusually quiet the previous evening, which she interpreted as suspense. She stepped into her dressing room, picked out a cute outfit, and walked downstairs confidently. "Happy birthday, my princess," her mother squealed, hugging her tightly. Becky laughed. "Thank you, Mommy." She looked around the living room. No big box yet, no dramatic reveal. Her father walked in calmly, holding a small black box. Her heart skipped. That box. She recognized it instantly. Her smile widened. He cleared his throat. "Becky, Juliet, come here." Juliet hesitated but stepped forward. She looked nervous, unsure why she was being called into a birthday moment. Becky stood proudly, hands on her hips. Her father opened the box slowly. The latest iPhone, brand new. Becky's eyes sparkled. "I knew it!" she squealed. "Daddy, you're the best!" But instead of handing it to her, he turned and gave it to Juliet. The room froze. Juliet blinked. "Sir? This is for you," he said calmly. Becky laughed awkwardly. "Okay, Daddy, nice joke." "I'm not joking." Juliet's hands trembled as she accepted the box. Becky's smile disappeared. "Excuse me?" Her father reached into his pocket and brought out another phone. A small one. Basic button phone. "This is yours." Becky stared at it like it was poison. "What is this?" "This," her father said steadily, "is the phone you deserve." Her mother gasped. "Honey, what are you doing?" Her father's eyes were firm. You smashed what wasn't yours yesterday. You humiliated someone who works in this house. If you cannot respect people, you don't deserve premium things. Becky's face turned red. It was just a phone. No, he replied. It was character. Her mother tried to intervene. She's just a child. No, he said sharply. She is old enough to know better. Becky felt like the ground had opened beneath her. You are embarrassing me, she shouted. Her father didn't raise his voice. What is embarrassing is how you treat people you think are beneath you. Becky stormed upstairs furious. Her birthday breakfast felt cold. The cake didn't taste sweet, and for the first time in her life, she did not feel like a princess. Monday morning, Becky dressed perfectly. Hair laid, shoes polished, uniform crisp, but inside her bag was the small, basic phone. She debated leaving it at home, but she needed to call the driver after school, so she carried it. During lunch break, her friends gathered around their usual table. Becky, show us your birthday gift, one of them said excitedly. She forced a smile. It's fine. Let's see. Reluctantly, she brought it out. Silence. Then laughter. What is that? Is that a backup phone? Did your iPhone fall inside water? One girl grabbed it. This one looks like something my grandma uses. Another snapped a picture. Guys, Becky downgraded. Her chest tightened. She tried to laugh it off. It's temporary. But whispers had already started. The girl who always had the best gadgets now didn't. Her social status shifted instantly. She could feel it in the way they looked at her, in the way their tone changed, in the way she was no longer the center of admiration. For the first time, Becky felt small, invisible, embarrassed. She sat quietly for the rest of the day. That evening, when she got home, she saw Juliet in the kitchen, carefully using her new iPhone. She had even bought a small pouch to protect it. Juliet's smile was soft, grateful, humble. She didn't boast, she didn't mock, she simply appreciated. Becky stood there watching her, and suddenly, something uncomfortable stirred inside her. She remembered the way Juliet had bent down quietly to pick up the shattered phone pieces.
Right.
She remembered the tone she used, the snapping, the arrogance, the pride. Now she knew how it felt, to be laughed at, to be looked down on, to feel less. For the first time in her life, Becky felt shame, and it sat heavily in her chest. The laughter at school did not stop that week. Every time Becky pulled out the small phone, someone had something to say.
Becky, is that a real phone? It's like a dinosaur. It doesn't even have a screen. Poor Becky. So embarrassing.
She pretended not to care, but at night when she lay in her soft bed staring at the ceiling, it replayed in her head. The whispers, the giggles, the way one of her closest friends avoided sitting beside her. At home, things had changed too. Her father did not argue with her. He did not scold her again. He simply watched. Watched when she reached for something, watched when she opened her mouth to call Juliet, watched whether she would choose differently.
Thank you, Juliet.
The first few days, Becky still tried to act normal. Juliet, she stopped herself mid-sentence. The remote was on the table. She looked at it. Then, slowly, she picked it up herself. Juliet noticed. Another day, she entered the kitchen. Juliet, water. She paused again. The bottle was in the fridge. She walked to the fridge, poured the water. No drama, no announcement. Her father saw it from the dining table. He didn't smile, but something in his eyes softened slightly. One evening, Becky stood outside Juliet's small room. She knocked gently. Juliet opened the door. Yes, Becky.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have broken your phone. I shouldn't have shouted at you. I was wrong. It's okay. No, it wasn't okay.
There was a pause, and in that pause, something shifted. Not status, not power, but perspective. From that day forward, Becky changed slowly. Not dramatically, not overnight, but intentionally. She began saying please, she began saying thank you. She stopped calling Juliet for things she could easily do herself. Her mother noticed.
Why are you stressing yourself over there? That's Juliet's job. Mama, it's not stress, it's basic.
Her father heard that. 2 months passed. He did not restore the iPhone immediately. He wanted the lesson to sit, to grow roots. One Saturday morning, Becky was alone in the living room. The TV was playing. The remote was slightly out of reach. She looked at it. No one was around. She stretched and picked it up. No hesitation, no calling, just action. Her father was standing quietly at the hallway entrance, watching. Later that evening, he walked into her room holding a small box. She looked up. Her heart skipped. He placed the box on her table. "I'm not giving you this because you complained," he said calmly. "I'm giving it to you because you've changed." She opened it slowly. The latest iPhone, brand new. "Thank you," she said softly.
Thank you,
And she
Daddy.
meant it. He nodded.
Remember something, Becky. Wealth can give you comfort, it can give you access, it can give you luxury, but it cannot give you character.
Daddy, you are the best.
And this time, she understood. Because respect was never about status. It was about how you treat
Thank
people
you.
when you think they have nothing to offer you. And Becky had finally learnt that lesson.